Welcome to the Power of Great. I'm your host, Matt Crane, and every single week we bring you entrepreneurs, CEOs, 9-to-5ers, but more importantly, we bring you real groundbreaking information with one mission in mind, and that's to help you recognize that your current situation is not your defining moment. This week, we got my man, Brandon T. Adams. Brandon's an entrepreneur, speaker, podcaster, author. He's a serial entrepreneur that owns a stake in a number of businesses, including the Young Entrepreneur Convention, Keys to the Crowd, Artic Stick, an ice distribution ship that serves 3 states. Brandon's also the co-host and one of 2 executive producers of Ambitious Adventures, a reality television program focused on the compelling stories of young entrepreneurs. In addition to that, Brandon and his Keys to the Crowd team have found success while working with high-profile clients like Kevin Harrington, John Lee Dumas, and others to gain funding using the emerging methods of crowdfunding. And if that's not enough, Brandon is also a regular on the motivational speaking circuit. Brandon Adams, welcome to the Power of Great, my friend.
Boom. I don't think you could have done that any better, man. You knocked that out of the park. The best introduction I have had to date. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be on this show.
Hey, I'm honored to have you here. You know, we were talking a little bit offline, and what I love about social media and entrepreneurship is that if you're really doing the hustle as everybody talks about it and you're building relationships, you're going to find like-minded people that you gel with. And I was telling you, you know, last year you were pushing the Young Entrepreneurs Convention. I caught wind of it. I said, dude, this guy right here has that it factor. Like I don't know, man. I just enjoyed the way you kind of brought it to the table. Just a lot of authenticity there, especially behind the camera. And you know what? That's hard for people to pull off. And so for me, I started following you. And then the next thing I know, I see you with my man, Lewis Howes. I see you with, Kevin Harrington. I see you on my man, Grant Cardone's show. And I said, yep, there's no secret to success. It always leaves clues, man. And so I knew I had to have you on the show. So, walk me through what took you to Artic Stick. We talked about it a little bit. That seemed to be this thing that you caught the entrepreneurial bug early. What was it that really said, man, this is my product. This is what I've got to go after?
Yeah. So let me give you the quick little 26 years in a couple minutes here so you can kind of understand what led me to Artic Stick. Like, why did this kid create this product that cools and flavors drinks, and how it led him to speaking and creating his own TV show. Like, that's kind of a turn in events. I mean, we talked about success. It doesn't go straight. It's like up and down and over and up this fucking mountain to the right and to the left. And then finally you get there. So I grew up in a northeast Iowa, small town, Garnerville, Iowa. My dad, I was entrepreneur my whole life. My dad sold packaged ice for a living. He's done multiple companies. Some worked, some didn't. But where he found success was selling packaged ice. And at a young age, I knew that I wanted to buy that company out. Ended up buying the business out 3 years ago. And it runs today. He actually runs it for me. But it wasn't until one hot day that I came up with this idea, Artic Stick. I wanted to flavor a bottle of beverage, a single bottle of beverage, not just a bag of ice. I want to be able to, you ever put ice cubes in a bottle of beverage? It's time consuming. I wanted something not only cool bottle of beverage, but flavored as well. And at the time I was going to Iowa State University, and I wanted something to put alcohol in to smuggle alcohol shots into the football games. So I invented this product called the Artic Stick. And after about 3.5 years of my life of working on that and traveling the country, pitching, I've pitched in front of Shark Tank casting call. I've pitched in front of investors. I've done about everything. Even took selfies with Lance Armstrong to get promotion for the product. But in that process, after spending $100,000 and doing 3.5 years of my life, partnered with companies and getting on pilot runs and TV shows, I realized what I really like to do. And I realized I like to help people. And it was in my last leg of funding where I did a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, and I raised about $26,000 for Artic Stick. And I realized how hard it was. And as an entrepreneur, you see problems. I saw that 70% of the market out there was failing with crowdfunding. And I saw how crowdfunding helped me, and I wanted to help other people succeed. So my New Year's resolution, December 31st of 2014, which is my birthday, by the way, I'm New Year's Eve, baby. I wanted to figure out how I wanted to be the best in the industry. So I set out to do that. So that 2015, I grinded like a mofo. Like I traveled the country, February 9th of 2015, I started the podcast show, University of Young Entrepreneurs. Within 8 weeks, I had the top 50 most influential new business podcasts on iTunes. From there, I wrote a book on crowdfunding to become an expert, because you want to become an expert, you got to write a book on it these days. Did that, and I did something nobody else in the world was doing. I traveled the country, went on TV, I talked about crowdfunding, and I promoted local crowdfunding campaigns in that city. So I've done that in Florida, Vegas, California, Indianapolis, Iowa, you name it. I've been there. And then what I did is I started my company, Keys to the Crowd, which a crowdfunding service where we help people raise money. And in the last year, 2016, I've actually crowdfunded 2 companies, which I have a majority or a stakeholdership in. And so one of the most known one is John Lee Dumas. We crowdfunded the Freedom Journal. In 33 days, we raised $453,000. Then I ended up doing a campaign with Kevin Harrington. We did his book, Put a Shark in Your Tank, which is coming out here in a month. And then right now we got a campaign, Think, the Legacy of Think Go Rich, which the book Think and Go Rich, anybody listening, you have to read that book, changed my life. Because of it, they've asked me to be a part of the cast and crew. They interviewed me a couple of weeks ago in San Diego. But right now we've raised close to $130,000 in 3 weeks. So crowdfunding's been kind of my thing, but I do speaking and I like to motivate people. But that's kind of my journey that led to here. But also one of the other companies, so 2 companies, you said you saw me from Young Entrepreneur Convention. So almost exactly a year ago, I had the idea for an event, and I wanted to create the largest event in Iowa. And within 7 months, we put on Young Entrepreneur Convention. We had over 500 attendees. We had Kevin Harrington speak. We had John Lee Dumas. We had Ken Shamrock, Jeff Hoffman at Price, and all these big speakers created that event. Again, that was created from crowdfunding. That event led me to a connection with Greg Rollett, who was one of our speakers. And within 3 weeks of that event, I met him, talked with Greg Rollett in Florida, and we made the deal to create a TV show together. We crowdfunded that this summer. Now we're in 3 episodes in filming right now for our TV show. And we're looking to come out next year. We're going to be in 100 million homes. Got a deal with YouTube Cable. We'll be on Amazon, Apple, Roku TV, and talking with Travel Channel and ABC right now. So yeah, all that happened. But the one thing I want people to take away from that story is I started with Artic Stick and I stuck with it. And Artic Stick sells on Amazon, but that's not my huge success. But Artic Stick led me to other endeavors. So people that don't know what they want in life, stick with something and follow through, and it'll lead you to things that you really want to do. And then I found out, I like to speak, I like to connect, and I like to help people raise money. And through the event that I did, if you put on an event, you become an influencer, and you have so many opportunities. That event led to a TV show. It led to deals with big names. And it led for me to become an influencer. So stick with things and become an influencer in your field. And I think everybody needs to become an influencer or celebrity in their own field if they want to have a lot of success selling things and being known.
Yeah. And here's what I love about it. 2 key takeaways, and I want every one of our listeners out there on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Hey, I want you guys to really take away these 2 big. Number 1, he bought his dad's company back from his dad, and his dad runs it. That's fucking awesome, okay? Number 2 is that Artic Stick was what really created the entrepreneurial buzz when he really started to take hold of the ice distributional ship. He wanted to own something. So once he owned that, he moved on to Artic Stick, and it was spurred from just like a goofy moment. I wanted to take shots into a college game, which every college person wants to do.
Yeah.
Okay. But here's what I love what he said. I stuck with it no matter the trials, no matter the trepidations, and it spurred all these other things. So, Brandon, with that being said, do you find so many entrepreneurs today picking up something, it not working, dropping it, moving on to something else, and not really sticking to the progress?
That's the number one problem. So, for one, people have a lack of, they don't act on their ideas. They get an idea, but ideas are shit if you don't actually do anything with it. So, I got to the point with Artic Stick, I was, so much money deep, and, I was at the point, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to get this to market. And even if it doesn't sell a lot, I'm getting it to market because I said I was going to do it. And that, talk about motivation, $100,000 and 3.5 years of my life without seeing a penny of profits. That's motivation. I was literally selling real estate in the weekends, working extra jobs, taking on debt just to make this happen. So the big mistake people make is they get into something, they get excited for a couple months, they don't see any success, and they drop it. Stick with it. Over a couple of years, you will see your success. You have to stick with it. And the people that succeed, the most successful entrepreneurs out there, they kept going. It took them 3, 4, 5, 10 years to get where they are. It took me 3 years of doing a lot of shit to get where I am. And I'm still got a lot of places I want to go. So stick with it and just be consistent. A lot of people, they're not consistent. So, for example, I'm talking about right now my Accelerate program. For all the people who work with this, like, be consistent in your work. I got 3 podcast shows going a week. I got a blog every week. I'm doing Facebook Lives. I'm doing Snapchat. I'm putting content out there to build my online awareness, but also doing it regularly. I don't just, hey, you know what? I don't feel like doing my show this week, so I'm going to blow it off. Like, it doesn't work that way. You have to do it every week. You have to be consistent with your work. When you're consistent, people will see it over time. It may take 12 months. It may take a couple of years. But once you get to that point, it's a snowball effect. Eventually, everything will come, and it's like overnight success, years in the making.
Yeah, and there again, ladies and gentlemen, so if you're watching these 30-day videos, 60-day videos, 90-day videos, understand that it's really 3 years to 90 days, okay? Or it's really
it is. It is. But the lesson to be learned from that is this. I always say find somebody who's already achieved what you want to achieve and follow in their footsteps and learn from them. So when you invest in programs, I think everybody should invest in themselves all the time. And I'm always doing it. Find somebody that has many years on you that have made a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of the mentors I have are like 50, 60 years old, and they're billionaires. And they've learned a lot. So I want to learn from their mistakes so I can save a lot of years of my life and get that like golden ticket, the Willy Wonka line, so I can get in the front of the line and learn for all that bullshit people went through and them 20 years ahead of me. So learn from somebody who's already achieved what you want to achieve and listen to their advice and just try to jumpstart yourself so you don't have to go through the same bullshit. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the 30-day program, these things work, but you got to actually act on it. A lot of people just don't act. They get these ideas. They get this motivation. You can lead somebody to water. You can't make them drink. Drink the water. Go forward.
Well, I think, too, the other thing that I want people to understand about your journey is that, man, you were the head cook, the dishwasher, the manager, the host, everything. And I think most people fail to understand that if you want to be a true blue entrepreneur, you've got to sell yourself, and you've got to sell your idea, and you've got to sell your product. And I think that's where your story is really something that intrigues me, because with Artic Stick, you took a gimmick, really, and you turned it into a $100,000 debt, and you said, fuck this. It's going to market regardless. But you still had to go out there and sell it. You still had to go out there and do your thing.
And what I found out is, like, you are your number one product. Every entrepreneur, they are their number one product. That's why you have to constantly invest in yourself and your brand and who you are, because you're constantly selling. And for Artic Stick, some people look at, oh, Brian, well, you lost $100,000 doing that. Well, not really, because it led me to multiple 6-figure companies and making a lot of money in other areas of my life, which my story, I learned a lot from that. So that was kind of like my going to school, So learn from your mistakes and use that to catapult you in a whole new direction of what you really want to do.
Yeah, and I think that if you're not willing to do, you're not going to learn anything.
So I know, and like you said, like, you want to be you got to wear multiple hats starting out. I mean, you just have to. And even sometimes when you get towards the top, you still have to do that sometimes. But be willing to do the shit work that people aren't willing to do. Because if you're not willing to do that, you're not an entrepreneur, and you're not going to have success. There's still things I don't like to do, but I do them because I know I have to do them. You got to do. The person that works harder, does more, is going to have more success.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're live with Brandon T. Adams, serial entrepreneur, creator of the Artic Stick, co-host and executive producer of Ambition Adventures, Young Entrepreneur Convention, University of Young Entrepreneurs podcast, ICE Distributional Ship, Next Stop, the President of the United States. I can say But, Brandon, so, hey, along the way, it hasn't all been peachy keen, right?
No.
So talk us through a moment where you were like, man, I'm giving up. I'm going back to just be a regular college student, get my degrees, and move on to that corporate life.
Fuck that corporate life. 2014, I was in the process of doing Artic Stick, And I found out that I really like to help people. And I liked the product development because I saw what it was like the CAD drawings, going and prototyping, manufacturing, everything. And I wanted to start a product development company called Adams Product Innovation. And I spent a lot of money. I spent like 3 or 4 months on this project and like went all in. And at the time, my girlfriend had her leave her job, quit her job in Minnesota, and moved with me to Des Moines. We had the office picked out with the blueprints. I had $750,000 lined up in investment. I had everything set up, moved to my apartment. This is June of 2014. And at the last minute, my gut feeling told me I couldn't do it. I was at a point where I realized if I was going to move forward, take the money and go for the company, that I was going to fail. I realized it was going to be wrong timing, and you got to follow your gut. So I basically dropped the whole idea, flat ass broke, hit the lowest point of my life. I was like, mentally, it was like killing me. My girlfriend, I was like, shit, I promised her all this stuff, and now we're sitting here trying to figure out what we're going to do. And I hit rock bottom. But when you hit rock bottom, you get these superhuman powers. Like you literally, there's no going down. Like you get an advantage over most people. The power of broke. David John, I haven't read his book, The Power of Broke, but there's a power of being broke. And I made a pivot, and I am doing a crowdfunding campaign for Artic Stick, and then I got into crowdfunding. But that low point in my life made me realize like anything's possible. I can get out of this. I just got to make a pivot. If you believe in something a lot, if you really believe in your journey, you'll get there. And I kept going. And I had other obstacles along the way, but that was one that really defined me as a person, made me realize like, I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to succeed. And in life, if you just get through them tough times, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but you got to be willing to get through the tough times. A lot of people give up. And after 3 years of bullshit, now it's like, okay, I'm glad I never gave up, but it's like, for other people listening, just don't give up. You're going to have shit. It's going to happen. You just keep going.
Yeah, I tell people all the time now because I was doing the corporate thing and I just didn't play well with others. I didn't like glass ceilings, and I didn't like to be told that I was going to get promoted in 3 years when I knew I should have been promoted in 3 months.
Yeah.
And so, I tell people all the time is that you're going to deal with crap being broke just like you're going to be dealing with crap trying to push towards success. I'd rather scoop shit on my way to success than scoop shit on my way to being broke. So,
yeah,
so
I like that.
You've met a lot of cool people. You've been a lot of awesome places. What's one conversation that you've had with someone where you just walked away going, that just happened?
So I got a couple of them, but I would say, and this is one good thing I was talking to you about, I just interviewed Ryan from Hardcore Closer, and I asked him best advice on sales, and he said, listen more, talk less. And it just made me think of a moment when I was in a car with Kevin Harrington. He's the original Shark on Shark Tank guy. He's a very successful entrepreneur, invented the infomercial. And I got this opportunity. Within 24-hour notice, I had a chance to be at an event with him and sit with him at a table. So I got on a plane, and anyways, 45-minute car ride with him. And I listened. I didn't really talk. I listened. And it ended up being basically Kevin Harrington picking my brain. So like you think I would pick his brain, but really I just listened, and we talked about crowdfunding, which in that car ride, we basically talked about doing a crowdfunding deal for him, which we ended up doing. And then I ended up throwing a mastermind for him. He came, spoke at my event, and now we're really good friends. Great connection. But that was one experience in my life. I'm like, wow, like I was 26. I got this guy that's worth about $500 million. And like people are just begging him to invest in his company or to invest in them. And he's picking my brain. I'm like, wow, there's a learning point here. Listen more, give value and advice to others, and you will have more success and it'll lead more opportunities. Some people like to know it all, and they talk too much. And really they're the people that don't know shit. You'll see the wise man that sits in the corner and just listens and very careful on his words, So that was one moment in my life, but I've had a lot. I mean, I've been on Grant Cardone's show, met him, learned some things from him, went over Ty Lopez's, been in his house, had them cook you a meal from Will Smith's old chef, no joke. Like all these opportunities, all these people I've met. But the thing is, do things that scare you. I found out when you do things when there's a time and you're questioning yourself if you should do it, You're like, I don't know if I should do it. You're kind of scared. That's a sign saying do it. It's like testing you. And the times that I've done that to live out of my comfort zone and do things that scare me are the times where I got really rewarded. So constantly be living out of your comfort zone and doing things that scare the shit out of you. And when you do that, you're growing. And that's how I live my life. And I constantly do it. And I never want to get comfortable. Even now, like, I have a lot of things I want to do. I don't want to get comfortable. I want to grow every single day. And I want to get better and keep growing until I become a billionaire. And for anybody else in life, don't ever get comfortable. Even when you're a millionaire and you have a steady life, like, keep growing, do things that scare you, and keep getting better.
Yeah, so once again, ladies and gentlemen, my man Brandon Adams just brought home my point. Your current situation is not your defining moment. No matter where you are on the totem pole of success, you can always strive to be better. You know, Brandon, as we wrap up the show, you know, Young Entrepreneur Convention, Young Entrepreneur Podcast, you know, what's your advice to those young entrepreneurs? I would consider myself a young entrepreneur still.
You are.
What would be your advice to those that are either dabbling in entrepreneurship or have gone all in and are riding the struggle bus right now?
So I'll give you a few here because these are the best advice. If I was going to die tomorrow, this is what I'm going to leave with you. Whatever the mind conceives and believes, the mind achieves. Whatever you think about the most is what you become. That's from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I've studied that book, and because of it, I'm asked to be in their film. But whatever you think you can do, you can do. And when you can convince your mind you can do it, you'll achieve it. But not only that, people will see the belief in you, and they'll follow you. They'll help you get there. So believe in yourself and have that confidence and tell the world where you want to go, because the world will help you get there. You are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. You want to become a billionaire? Hang out with billionaires. Hang out with people that are much smarter than you. Do what you know, and what you don't know, have the experts do. And then also find a mentor. Find somebody who's already achieved what you want to achieve in life. Follow in their footsteps. Ask to add value to them. Ask to work for them for free, because really you're not working for free. You're learning from somebody that can save you many years of your life, many failures, and help you make a lot of money, because we're just repeating history. We're repeating history, and you just find somebody who's already done it and do it in your own way to become an influencer. And that would be my best advice. And actually set your goals. Most people don't even set their goals. Like, they don't even know what they want to do. I know that by December 31st of 2029, I want to impact 1 billion lives on earth. That is 12 years and 3 months away. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do that through the power of TV, podcasting, online awareness, and creating my own reality TV shows. That's what I'm going to do. So what is your goal? What is everybody's goal out there? No, most people don't even know what their goal is. Set the fucking goal. Write it down and go after it. That's my advice if I can die tomorrow. And again, read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the best book I've ever read. It changed my life, and it'll change yours too.
My man just said, tell the world what you want to do, and it will help you get there. That's some badass stuff right there. So, Brandon, before we jump off, man, once again, honored to have you on the show. Always dropping the knowledge. Know that I'm going to learn more from you, grow more from what you're doing, man, and just proud to start having you creep into my circle as I creep into yours. But where can the listeners and the audience find you and follow more of your information?
Yeah, I mean, just go to BrandonTAdams.com. That's BrandonTAdams.com. That has everything about me, my life. And if you want to get more personal and see my own reality TV show every single day, follow me on Snapchat, BTAdams18. I mean, Snapchat, if you're not on it, you should get on it. I do a lot of crazy stuff. You see insight, I give you advice, and then I do some crazy shit too. So you can find me there.
Awesome. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My man Brandon T. Adams delivered the goods. But more importantly, he did this one thing I leave with the show every week. He showed you that success isn't measured by what you step out of, rather by what you are committed to step into. And I thank you each and every week for allowing me to be your host right here on The Power of Great. And we'll see you all next week.